Hello, everybody. It's good to see you here. I can see you already coming into the room. And, as always, happy Wednesday, wherever you are in the world and whatever time it is in your world. And just to start out, if you are watching, whether it's now or the replay, your animal 100% guided you here. And what we talk about today is part of the message that they're here to share. So I always, explain that, we have a topic and then we pool our energy together like we're doing right now. And then we see what happens. And it's by our interaction, it's by our connection to the animals. So I love to see everybody coming in and hello, Jenny, and North Carolina, you're here. Good. I am on North Carolina too. And Frankie, good to see you. Stella, hello. This is actually alive. Yes. Is this? Yes, totally. Completely alive. So there's no telling what's going to happen today. And Kathleen, I've been thinking about my Rocco Bubba so much lately. I miss him dearly. The animals, when we gather, they gather with us. So you don't ever have to worry about leaving them behind or going ahead of them. They stay with you. And that's part of what I want to talk about today with the animals as messengers. They come into our lives on purpose. It's never random. It's always at a juncture point. And usually we can say what the juncture point is, right? What was going on in your life at the time is the best way to ask yourself to think back. Let's see, my kids have gone to college, or I was getting a divorce, or whatever the life circumstance is, pairs up with your animal coming in. And, I spoke with somebody recently and I asked her that question because they were grieving the loss of their precious dog. And she said, well, my sister had passed 2 years before, and I just really all of a sudden felt this need to connect with an animal. So that was a juncture point as she had moved through her healing and was at a stage where she could open her heart again. And that animal actually was profound healer for both she and her husband. So the loss of him has been devastating, and that part can be really hard. It's also difficult maybe to see the why of it. Like, how does that fit in with things are on purpose? Sandra says, sweet, I've been seeing you since my cat passed away 4 months ago. He was 20 years old. Well, I'm glad you're here, and that's quite a life and quite a journey. And so I'm curious with you, do you feel like you've changed in the 4 months? And if so, who were you when your cat passed, and who are you becoming now? It's always connected. So start, as we dive deep today, start asking yourself, what did they come for? Like, it has to be more than just they showed up in my life. What was that relationship truly about? And because it's so profoundly impactful in our lives, and our animals can change us in ways that our relationships with people, can't. So with the thought of animals as messengers, what do you feel starting out? And we'll go through something a little later. What do you feel the message has been for you with your animal? Just pop it in the chat. I would love to see, because we'll be covering that. Like, what is the message? What am I learning? And then you can take that and expand it further into your life with humans. So what do you think they're trying to teach you, out of curiosity? Are they trying to teach you patience, independence? Are they trying to teach you to be a little more joyful? What are they teaching you? What have you learned from your animal? What message are they sending? And again, the message is not necessarily going to come in words. It's going to come through memories, through feelings, sensations, and through direct knowings. It'll drop in, and you'll just know what they're communicating with you. You know, all animals come through divine appointment. And I know the last time we met, we talked about, your divine appointment with animals. And again, going back to, it was a soul agreement. It was set up that they would come in at this particular time and you would come in for them. Goes both ways. So that's the arrival. The messenger part is the meaning. So what does this relationship mean? What is it cracked open in me? What am I feeling more? Is my heart opening more? What are they teaching me, and what have they taught me? That's the messenger part. And they can come in many, many different ways of whatever our soul growth is at the point. So tell me, if you can, I don't know if that love never dies. Chase taught me love never dies. It just transformed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely love. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine what we'd be like without it? I don't even think we'd know what it is, because humans seem to struggle with that. Kathleen says, I was in an abusive marriage when Rocco came into my life. When I got divorced, it was just me and my Rocco, starting with nothing. I was broken, and he brought light back into my life. And my current husband and I met as Rocco was passing away. Oh my goodness, what a story, and what a beautiful web of connections. And, I was talking earlier, I was with Sonia Choquette's group right before you all, and was talking about when we have these high dollar, high value, high level, let's say that, challenges in our lives, deaths, any kind of life transition, loss of a job, divorces, anything that kind of cracks us open, it tears the web of our reality so that more coincidences come in, and often animals slide right in on that energy. It's a portal that gets opened. So I love that you have connected all those dots with the coming and the going, and what the true value was. It's beautiful. Thank you for that. That the essence of who we are, our souls are eternal. We are forever connected. I can't feel my little girl around, but I think my cat sees her. I wish I could. For me, I think she was my child, and that was my message / gift. Do you feel like, hang on a minute, let's see what's coming. It has to do with mother energy. And did she teach you how to be a good mother, or what mothering was really like? Because my sense is what you shared with her is she got to know what it was like to be in a family, to be loved, to be a daughter. They're learning just like we are. And it's, just like they are messengers for us. Well, newsflash, we're messengers for them. So I wonder what you would say about that mother energy and what that offered you, what that opened up in you. And our other animals can see spirit very, very easily, much more easily than we do, especially when we are in grief and we think we can't feel them, but yet they're there desperately trying to get through. So perhaps today you'll be able to open through our talk and feel without searching for it. The feeling will just come. Thank you for sharing that. Sandra, they teach me to just enjoy the love and beauty of everyday life, embrace it, because one day it will be gone. Life, they live in the moment, and life is fleeting. And so that messenger energy is huge. And can you imagine when you give somebody a gift, if they don't really open it or receive it, isn't it kind of disappointing? Well, the messengers, the animal messengers, are giving us gifts all the time. And are we opening them? Not only are we opening the gifts, are we embodying them? Are we taking them forward? Because it's priceless. You can't, it's something that you will have the rest of your life, and carrying it forward and sharing it with others. Thank you for that. I acquired Eva, Agatha, good to see you. When her owner, my boyfriend, passed, she had to adapt to a whole new environment and could see her depression, but she bounced back. That's healing. So I'm wondering, do you feel like you are a healer messenger for her? Maybe a transition guide. What would you say? Because, we have to participate in our own healing. The animals do too. It's a choice. We have to decide we want to heal, and healing's a perspective. And if you think about it, when we physically heal, the cells of our body change perspectives, right? And allow us to heal physically. Well, emotional healing, let's say soul repair, is also that deep transitional space where we get to see a different perspective, maybe from their eyes. Thank you for that. I love how the animals are guiding us already. Jenny says that the essence of who we are, our souls are eternal. We are forever connected. In my other group right before this, we were talking about feeling connected in your heart, and we did a little exercise. And I've done this on air with you guys some. I'll ask, do you feel connected to your pet? And you're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, can you go into your heart space? Let's just drop in there. And we can do it right now together. For those who are new, we're very experiential here. So you always need to have pen and paper and be prepared to connect and engage. So let's just drop into our heart space right now. And take a deep breath and let out a sigh. It's been a week already, and we are gathering here to join our energies with the animals. So we want to appreciate this precious and most sacred space. So feel that heart space of yours. What does it feel like? Is it warm? Is it soft? Is it open? Is it hurting? Is it sad? What does it feel like? Do you feel love in there? I want you to imagine this heart space growing bigger and bigger, like, pulsing out, and feeling that love with each kind of in-breath and out. It grows even more. And see it touching everybody here. See your heart going out and letting it flow wherever it needs to go, whoever needs that love right now. And your animals are here. Do you feel them in your heart? Do you feel something familiar? This is the most sacred space you could ever visit. And the more you visit this space, the more you touch base with the energy of love and the energy of your animal, the more it grows and exponentially goes out into the world. Now I want you to slowly open your eyes. And I want to ask you to check to see if it's still there. Can you drop back in real quick and see if it's still there? Now I want you to try to make it go away. Can you? I'd love to hear in the comments what you just experienced, because we literally just created an energetic field that joined us all. And whoever is guided to be here today has received a healing and a transmission from the animals that we've activated it. We just did an activation, and that was totally guided by the animals. I didn't come in and have this planned at all. I just heard, get in the heart space. We needed to join together in that. Comforting. What other things did you feel in your heart space? Share, please. Open, warm, soft, blessed, lots of love. Ah, yummy. Deanna says, yummy. I like it. Marge, don't want it to go away, so not forcing it out. You couldn't force it out if you tried. Hearts are meant to love, and your heart's way too big. You could not force it out. It's always going to be there. Love and light, Frankie says. And Debbie, warmth and love in my heart. Are you still feeling it? I felt warmth, and I really don't want to let it go. Well, then don't. You can lead from your heart all day long. You can be in the grocery store and in your heart space. You can't chase it out. You can get distracted, but I guarantee you, even if you get distracted and you jump back in, you're going to find that love is there. You just can't, make it leave. It's just not possible. Peaceful. And don't we need a lot of peace? Do you need some peace today? I'll take it. Layla says, my dog, baby boy, little Poppy, came to me when I'd lost everything, even the ability to have children. He transitioned 13 years later, 5 months ago. Oh, I love this. He cracked my heart open and changed me forever. I just have this strong, I don't know about you all. Did you just feel that? Poppy literally has opened our hearts even further, and he comes through your words. Your words have energy because your words right here are coming from your heart. And that's that opening for, we want to talk about animal communication. Why don't we say animal communion with our animals? Thank you for that. That came on the heels of our energetic experience just then. Roxy, doing that made me instantly emotional. Initially, I felt disconnected and then started doing the exercise. And after a certain point, once I was expanding the energy, boom, I got emotional. Tears filled my eyes, although not from sadness. So that was interesting. We just kicked off a big activation with each other. It is pulsing still. Vibration, yes. A lot of you are saying, I feel at peace. Marge said, felt a golden light coming out, and real sun came out when I opened my eyes. So beautiful. I love that. I love that. Oh, my first week, my dog passed February 12th. I am so sorry, and I know that your heart is still very much hurting, and I'm so glad that you are joining us today and that your dog guided you here. And we all hold you and honor and witness you in your journey. So thank you for being here. Angus, oh, my heart is so swollen. What a glorious feeling. And no, I could not make it go away. How beautiful. It's something to discover. When we say our hearts are broken, we all kind of understand what that means. But then there's this other piece of, well, let me see. We root around in there like we're looking in a basement. Is the love still there? Well, yeah, love's still there. And what's more, there are a lot of memories in there. I have a lot of things I can be appreciative for, and it allows everything in. Thank you for sharing that. So as we talk about the messengers in our lives, and again, going back to you're quite welcome, it is a nice space where we can hold the space for everybody in whatever part of the journey we're in. I'm glad you're here too. We're never late. We're always in divine timing. And it's good to see you. Kathleen, I feel like he is always with me now more than ever, as my husband and I are expecting our first child in April. Well, congratulations, and beautiful, and absolutely yes. They are there for whatever currently is going on in our lives to help guide us forward. So that's another messenger, a guide messenger. And I have had many messengers in my life. I've had healer messengers, definitely teacher messengers. I've had all kinds of learning to go through with whatever I was experiencing in my life. And then the animals started really teaching me that they could also be catalysts in relationships. And sometimes they, arrived quietly, and sometimes their arrival is a bit, disruptive. Have any of you experienced that, where you've had an animal come in and it like shakes up the entire family? Yeah, those are catalyst energies. They're here to wake us up to what we are maybe is hidden. Animals a lot of times will come into a relationship and bring up what is not aligned, not together, not vibrationally a match. So let's take a look. I brought some presentation for you so we can do this together. So as you look and walk through this, Alex, you go to the next slide. Think about the messengers in your life. Again, they arrive transition, grief, awakening, redirection, and they bring with them a message. And let's just take a look at like what I'd consider the top 5. There are a lot of different messenger archetypes. Again, see if you resonate with any of these as I go through them. The healer. They offer comfort, softening, emotional restoration, soul repair. How many of you experience the healer? And then also ask yourself, am I that messenger archetype too? Pay attention to both going on at the same time. The second one, how many of you recognize this one? The protector. Offers you safety, grounding, boundary energy. Katie was a healer, but she also was a protector, and she definitely had clear boundaries and taught me what that was like as well. And she definitely wasn't a people pleaser, which I also really admired in her. She didn't apologize for who she was or what she felt or, how she operated. So what's the third one? The awakener. Change. They bring disruption. Huge growth catalyst. And I may have told you all this at some point, Charlotte's Web puppies, and I had all the Wilbur and all the names, and and they all went out, beautiful, pristine puppies, into the world, and then things started happening with them. And Wilbur in particular was a huge catalyst in a marriage that brought up issues, that brought up things that had not been really looked at, but that was the growth that he brought. This little group turned out had hemophilia, which was fairly rare. And of course it would be a group that, the little healers that scurry out into the world to bring emotional healing. And they were definitely catalysts. And little Wilbur, ended up coming back to me at 4 months old and then dying a week later. But he had completed his soul contract with them, and their marriage, was going through quite a bit of transition. So it's not always easy. It's not always easy. And it reflects what we're going through. The fourth one, the guide. Life transitions, direction, soul alignment. We've got to be in authenticity with ourselves, so they can guide us to what we really need to see in ourselves. They come in life transitions. They give us purpose and direction. And again, they teach us to get in alignment with who we are and who we are becoming. And then the next one, the mirror. How many of you recognize the mirror? They bring self-awareness, reflection, truth that's revealed. Katie always mirrored that independence. And I realized that, it was okay to have those kind of boundaries where you're owning that space of where you are. And she was a really good example for that for me, really good. So it taught me about me. So how many of you have some resonance with any 5 of these? Kathleen says, I'm a healer and also needed healing and find myself always protecting others, and Rocco always protected me. I feel like Rocco awakened me and made me more open to growth and change. Our animals bring spiritual growth as one of the gifts. And, people don't often think that about animals. There's quite the depth. Roxy says she identifies with all of them. All of them. Yeah, no, and maybe they are different ones at different times in our experience with them. Frankie, awakening to what? I'm curious if you pop it in the chat. And Layla, it seems they show in pairs or groups to apply all those changes. Yes, it's kind of the soul team, right? It definitely is a connected kind of whole, where we may be needing this message here now, and then another message in a year, or they cross over each other. My soul cat had all 5. Beautiful. The guide in the mirror, Coco says. So, as we go forward and you go forward in your day, then I want you to be thinking about this too. What kind of messenger have you been? What is your archetype? And these are just 5. There's a lot out there. And Debbie wants to know, can they be awakening in beginning and change to healer, protector, and guide? Absolutely. Yeah, it's not just one or another. It's different at different times. The protector and the mirror. And what are you mirroring back, or what did you mirror back? Again, it's always about awareness of self and where is my growth edge? What are they teaching me now? Adriana, healer, and after her passing, she is my guide. Yes, they definitely serve as guides going forward. And, the signs and symbols and meaning change from when we first lost them to where we are currently, but they are always guiding, always. Felt stuck for a few months, not anymore. Wonderful. Energy and, grief is grief is a flowing energy, but we tend to stop it up and it hangs out with us, but we're not meant to camp there all our lives. I know I have been guilty of that. And then I had to realize, when my sister died and I'm in with Snoopy and I'm listening to this music every single night. And every single night when I'd hear that music, I'd start crying and I would hold Snoopy. She's like Mary Poppins. And one day, I don't know, it was weeks into this, I tell you, I was like, wait a minute. I think that music is triggering and I've got to stop. I've got to be able to heal in some way. So I actually stopped listening to it and I noticed that my heart didn't hurt as much. So that was a self-awareness lesson I needed at the time is, where am I contributing to my own painful experience? So let's do a game together. If you're in, let's play Spot the Messenger. And I'm wondering, I've got a guest that I'd love to introduce. So I'd love to do this with her here because she definitely has had the messengers in her life and I want you to meet her. And let's just do this together. So if we could somehow bring Jody on and do the game, that would be great. Jody, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here.
I'm so honored that you invited me on, Tami. Thank you.
Well, I'm so glad that you reached out on YouTube. I read everybody's comments, by the way, and reply to as many as possible. And you just said, I've got this story and wonder if I can share it with you. And you sent it to my email. And you're right. It is quite the story of how dogs have come through in your life and have impacted who you are, what you're becoming, where you were in life at the time. And so, would you say you've had lots of different animal messengers, or would you say that you've had lots of messages through whatever messengers you've had?
I would say that, well, I've always had a house full of animals, many multiple animals at a
I'm
time.
right there with you. Yes.
And I would say that many of them gave me messages, but it wasn't until quite some time later that I realized it.
Ah, that's a good point.
And yeah, um, it was often that I would reflect back and think,
Right.
this is something that I learned from this dog, or this was a very special cat, or
Mm.
that was different than anything else I've ever known. And so I would say that over the years, I've had lots of messages and lots of relationships. But now, later in life, I am just beginning to understand that these all had meaning and purpose.
Wow. Wow. And that's a good point. Sometimes it doesn't come until later. When we're ready for that understanding, that's when it drops in, and we have that, like, wait a minute, this and this and this and this animal and this dog. And so, just real briefly, you had a dog early on named Chips, right?
That's correct, our family collie.
Yes. And this dog was extraordinarily connected to you.
Yes, he was my protector. He never left my side. He was my siblings were all older, so I had Chips and he was always with me. I learned how to walk by pulling his fur and standing up.
Mm.
He never left my side. We completed each other. His job was to take care of me, and I needed him, I guess, for company and love.
So Chips
So
is wanting us to see him. So you just interrupted. That's not Chips, right?
that's not Chips, that's
Yeah.
Kita.
All right.
Chips is the collie.
There we go.
There we go. There's Chips.
Amazing photos, like just the powerful connection. Um, the protector for sure. What else would you say that, because there's such a bond, a soul bond you have with Chips? What would you
Yes.
say besides protector?
Besides Protector, Chips, I believe, looking back now, taught me as a baby and a toddler to love not just Chips, but to love all animals. This was going to be my soul's journey. I, as a child, wanted to touch everybody's cat and dog, and I wanted to watch butterflies. And my love for animals grew into all nature, and I ended up, when I went to college, I got a Bachelor of Science degree in zoology. And now I'm very active in supporting life on Earth and ecosystems. And Chips made sure that I found my soul's path. I'm pretty sure that's what that was.
Absolutely. And I just get all over body chills because such a guide in so many ways for you. And so, to fast forward, you were separated from him because he was given away, correct?
Yes,
And your heart was just broken. His heart,
shattered.
yeah,
Yes.
shattered. And then you were told by your father that, at about 8 or 9 years old, that he had passed. Do you remember feeling anything then?
Um, I felt sad, but I was, I don't know how to explain it. I couldn't handle the news of the death. I pushed it away. I I was so young and I was so heartbroken that I pushed all of my memories of Chips away. I pushed my emotions away because it was somehow too much for me. And I did that for 40 years, decades.
And then
I,
did you
I,
have an experience where you started looking through and found these pictures?
yes. So I had seen them once in a while over the years, and I knew of them, and I had one of them. But when I was about, I would say, 50 years old, I started to ask my siblings questions about Chips and about why he was given away. And um, I started to talk to Chips and brought Chips back into my life.
Mm.
And I would actually go to bed at night and cry and apologize to Chips for what had happened to him. He didn't have a very good life. I'm sorry I'm crying. Um,
It's fine because what, I think you're alluding to is a delayed grief. You didn't even know really, you weren't acknowledging. And sometimes we do put grief off to the side because it's just a coping mechanism.
yes.
It comes up later. So I want to, you know, you had all of this come up. Who was your next animal that came into your life, or the ones you
Um,
about?
After Chips, I was about 10 and we got a Labrador. She was mostly a puppy. My brother had his hunting dog bred. She was mostly my father's dog.
Mm.
I was busy with school and high school. Um,
I don't know if you
she,
can see somebody, Alana says, I felt my Yoshi's energy when I saw Chip's pictures. That energy where they are your guardian and best friend. That's what's happening right now. And Yoshi is that feeling is correct. Yoshi is here. And so these are activating all of us here and it's going out. How wonderful. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
hmm.
Sending lots of love, Jody, Kathleen says. So tell us, okay, so we got Chips. And the next one that you told me about was it Eris?
Yes, Eris came along many years later. We don't have pictures of him.
All right.
Um, we had lost a shepherd, Max, and I couldn't stand the quiet. And so my girlfriend sent me the picture of this little puppy that was supposed to be half Australian shepherd. And we got him. He was 8 weeks old and brought him home. And I started to look up Australian shepherds because I didn't know anything about them. And so I fell in love with the breed. And I said, well, the next dog I get, I'm going to get like a rescue Australian shepherd. And it's going to be a blue merle and it's going to have blue eyes. And I had all these preconceived notions of what dog I wanted. So, mind you, this is around 2009. I did run Eris's DNA. He was not an Australian Shepherd. His mother was 50%. Well, his mother was a full-blooded border collie. So, um, but it led me to the Australian Shepherd. And in my mind, I was formulating the next dog that I was going to get. So that's how
Came in.
Kita,
Kita came in. Do we have one
yes.
picture? There's Kita. Meet Kita. And
Yeah.
you say Kita changed your life? Would you say Kita had similar traits as Chips? Would you see Chips in her at all? Like, tell us more about her.
Okay. So the story is that Eris came into my life in 2009. And I wasn't planning on getting another dog right away. But a few years later, he began to have problems with his eyes, chronic keratinitis. And I thought, you know what? Why don't I get another dog now so that when he goes blind, he will have another dog to be his guide. And the year was probably somewhere around 2014. I started to look at Australian shepherds on rescue sites. And nothing really jumped out at me right away. And Then in 2015, I had this incredible energy dream, which was from Chips.
Mm,
It was December of 2015, and he came to me in this powerful dream, and he said, I have always been watching over you, and I always will.
mm,
And so what
yes.
happened then 2 months later is I was just got up one February morning and went outside, and I was scrolling on the website, the Aussie rescue site, and this dog, the pictures of her came up during her transport. And my reaction was so visceral. I mean, I started to shake, my heart started to race. I could feel my blood pressure just like exploding. And the universe said to me, this is your dog. This is the one you have been waiting for. You need to get this dog. And that was how I found Kita.
So it's just an amazing, and I think what you're really helping all of us see is this animal network that's connected. Everything's connected, and when one leaves, another one comes in, and there may be some time in between, but they're all. It's like a soul team. And so, if you could, because Kita is not with you any longer. One of the things you had written about Kita is just what an amazing kind of like connection you had with her, and tell us in when she passed, because it's such a poignant and such a beautiful sacred energy that you shared with her. Because can you talk about that, where the heart passages? I'd love for them to
Yes,
hear.
yes. Kita and I did have an incredible bond. I've never had one like that before. I mean, probably with Chips,
Right.
but I was so little, you know. But Kita and I were inseparable. We completed each other.
Oh, okay.
She she taught me, she re-taught me how to live in the present. And when I was with her, my soul, which loves to live in the present, was in the present instead of other people, regurgitating the past, looking for the future. I live in the present. I like to live in the present. And she kept me there. And when I wasn't feeling good, or if I had had a bad day or something bad had happened, she would come to me, and it was like she would take my my bad feelings, she would absorb them and diffuse them. She would care for me in that way. And so our bond was unbelievable, undeniable. People talked about it. And when she got osteosarcoma, and I knew that the end was coming, it was, of course, very soul shattering to me to know that I was going to lose her. But the time came when she told me that she was ready. And so I made the appointment, and it was a beautiful October day, and we were outside. And she knew. She
Mhm.
knew.
Right.
And so the vet came, and Kita licked her on the nose. And
Oh,
then Kita did something to me to say goodbye, which is the most precious thing ever. Is our whole life, she wanted to hold hands.
oh,
And this was something we did, and she would always present me with her left paw. And I was supposed to take that paw. And while she was getting woozy, she kept presenting that paw to me.
oh,
She was saying goodbye to me. She knew she was going to cross. And so after the vet gave her the final injection, and Kita went forward, still upright, but went forward, I laid across her very gently, and I do this with all of my animals when they pass. I laid my heart and my body across her so that her soul could pass through me,
Wow.
so
Wow.
I could let her know how much I loved her.
That is such, oh my gosh, that is such a beautiful experience and practice to heart passages because you were imprinting your energy together. It was flowing and still is very much between you. So she definitely had that healer and also protector energy of you. And we are all feeling, everyone here has the leaky eyes and the, everybody's like really resonating because it is, births are a sacred journey too, but so is the death portal, the death passage. And if we have the ability to share that with them through that heart passage, it's just so powerful. And so I'm thinking with Pippa, she's your current dog, right?
Yes.
And we don't have pictures of Pippa, right?
We do not have pictures of Pippa. She is a red merle Australian Shepherd with gold eyes and a white blaze down her face.
So
So,
what I love to do is like I said, I've got this little game because Tammy's all into this, and I'd love to do this with Pippa in mind. Kathleen says I did the same with Rocco. I never left his side when they let him cross over. Truly sending love to you, Jody. Hmm. Thank you for that. So if we could
thank
do
you.
the game together, and let's think of Pippa, and you haven't described Pippa yet. So Alex, if you could start the game. So this is Tammy being creative. Let's play Spot the Messenger, and I'm going to give you 3 to 5 slide clues. You type the name of the messenger energy you feel. No overthinking. All right. Go with your instinct. Go with your intuition. All right. So let's go to the first one. So this animal appeared during a major life change. They stayed close during emotional turning points. You felt supported without words. Their presence felt steady, almost anchoring. Is it the healer, the protector, the awakener, the guide, or the mirror? And pop it in the comments. And for you, Jody, do you see Pippa in any of this? Or is that
I'm
more?
not sure with yet. She's only been with me about 10 weeks. I
So
can't,
remains to be seen then, right?
right. I mean, all I can tell you is she is a very joyful girl. She lives very much in the present. She is just, she brings me so much happiness and she fulfills my physical need, even though I still communicate with Pippa on the other side. I mean, excuse me, with Kita on the other side.
Right, right.
Pippa is here to play with me, make me smile, keep me company, and she's bringing me a lot of joy and a lot of comfort. She's
I would
helping to heal me.
I would
So,
thank you. You beat me to it. I was like, yeah, I think she's a healer. Yeah,
yeah, I think she's a healer.
just a little bit. So I love that you all are, you're seeing healer and guide in that. And there's no, you know, it's what you're feeling into this healer, guide, awakener. Yeah, all of it. So let's go to the next one. And this is going to give you an idea. The true, I guess, if we want to call an answer, would be the guide. But underneath the guide, there's also these subcategories in there. So just remember, even if we want to label it one thing, it's really and usually several other types of messengers embedded in that. So I'll read them out to you. I understand. So spot the messenger. 2, you felt calmer just being near them. They seemed to absorb your stress. During grief, they became your quiet refuge. Their eyes felt deeply understanding, which messenger are we talking about predominantly here? Healer, protector, awakener, guide, mirror? What would you say? And with Pippa, you don't know that yet, or you can feel some of that?
I can feel that she is she's definitely healing me. It's
Right.
um on my screen I cannot see all of your
Yeah, they're saying healer, healer, guide, and yeah. So they're
yeah.
tuned into that too. And I'm wondering for you all that are answering here, are these some things you have felt yourself, and that's how you know it's a healer? Because there's energy to just describing this. So we're reading energy in the words, and most everybody's saying healer for this one. Let's go to
Yeah.
another one. Let's go to another one. And yes, the answer is a healer. Why? Because healers soothe the nervous system and soften emotional wounds, don't they? And don't we all need a healer in our lives? Just saying. All right, the next one. You weren't planning on adopting them. Life changed dramatically after they arrived. They disrupted your routines, little disruptors. You had to grow in ways you didn't expect. Oops, isn't that always the case? Like, we're fine, but we didn't realize we needed that growth now, did we? Until they came and helped us with that. Healer, protector here. What do you think? Awakener, the guide, the mirror. Roxy thinks it's the awakener. All right. What other things are anybody picking up? Anything else? Have you ever had that where you, and I know Roxy, you have, where you didn't see them coming? Like they just showed up. That has been the case for me over and over. I love the word anchor. Yeah, yeah, definitely. They ground us, they anchor us, they, keep us connected to love and the earth and everything. So, yeah, a lot of you are coming back in, awakening, the awakener. Uh huh. Yep. Have you had an awakener in your lives? Like, it could be also applied to people, by the way, hint, hint, that, you have a child and they're just a real catalyst and an awakener for things that teach you about yourself. So, as you go forward in life, all of this can be applied to other relationships and to your own kind of growth. So, yes, answers awakeners. Why? They didn't arrive for comfort, by the way. They arrived to evolve you. They arrived to evolve you. Here's another one. They positioned themselves between you and perceived danger. You felt safer sleeping when they were near. Their energy felt watchful. You felt fiercely defended. And I would add another one, that you felt at home with them. There was this, like, home was in that heart space that you felt with them. Protector, Carol says, good to see you.
Mm-hmm.
The healer, let's see, taught me patience and I can't control everything. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Protector, again, Roxy says, have any of you had protectors in your life? And raise my hand. Do you have protectors now that are your animals? Are you a protector? Yes, yes. So what's the answer? I think we all know, because it's pretty, like, we resonate. Yeah, the protector for sure. Protectors guard not just physically but energetically, and they help they help regulate us. Too. Healers do that as well. Absolutely. So here's another one, because Tami loves questions. They triggered you emotionally. Oops. They reflected traits you struggle with. They mirrored your anxiety or stubbornness. That's always nice to see in ourselves, isn't it? You learned about yourself, right, through them. I just remember, what do you think it is? Which one of these is it? Murphy, who was like Mr. Perfect Dalai Lama-ish, if I had a tone in my voice, he would literally remove himself from my presence, stand way over there, and I would catch that he was like, no, that's just not how you speak. You get your act together. So he definitely, he kept me very aware. He helped me be aware of myself. Um, Let's see it. Everybody's saying mirror. Wow. Do mirrors trigger emotionally too? Have you had any mirrors in your lives? And what kind of mirror are you? Again, always apply it to yourself. This is really always about learning who we are and who we're becoming. Isn't there another one? Have we missed one? This one's the mirror. Mirrors don't comfort or disrupt, they reveal. Have we gone through all of them? Do we have another one? Yes. What do you think your animal's archetype is? Yeah, Lana says, Yoshi would leave the room if people were agitated. They know how to regulate their own energies. And he was my protector too. My cat was my protector, and now he's gone. And I'm sorry for that. And I also would suggest dropping into your heart space and feeling that energy of protection, because I can feel very, very strongly. He hasn't, I understand that he's gone and he's passed, but he hasn't actually gone. And you can access it very quickly and easily. So as we've gone through yours and Pippa, we're trying to decide what she is right now, right? And Jane says, my fierce little protector, Katie. Yeah, mine was too. Katie was a protector. Love you always, sweet girl. I love the way that everybody is, because the more you connect by your words here, we're actually communicating with the animals. They're guiding this entire process today, and especially Chips and Eris and Kita and Pippa, which I get a sense, when I wanted to say she's bringing up the ranks, is she kind of like, is she sassy, or is she like full of life? Like, what is her energy? Because it's like, I'm not bringing up any ranks. I'm like front and center, she says.
She's pretty high energy. She was a show dog, so she's very attentive and very aware of her surroundings. She watches me constantly, and she's ready to go whenever you want to do something. She's right there.
Quite so I would messenger right there. As you go forward, I want you to keep thinking about all of this, and with your beautiful animals, Jody, that have come so clearly through your life and now into ours. Your story and what you shared helps us see more into our own lives and understand how they're all connected, and maybe the messages come later, and how important it is to be present in the moment. And we talk about being present, but are we really? And what's the difference there? And I'd ask all of you today, before we part ways, is are you present now in this moment? Because when we leave, also do it like a check on that. Am I still present? And see if you can locate what that feels like and anchor it in. I so appreciate you being here. We all appreciate you sharing your beautiful story and heart passages. That's such a lovely practice, and very spiritually sacred.
Thank you. I appreciated being here.
Oh, powerful, powerful. So everybody, take what we've created today out in the world with you. And let's start expanding what this community has built and is building together. And it's all from the heart. I do have something that you can download, and it's a messenger map. It will take you even further in this kind of exercise. And I give you a few more archetypes to think about. It's a really good kind of workbook that you can do over and over again as you're going through different experiences in your life. So scan the QR code and it's yours. It's totally free and a gift from the animals and me to you. I thank you. I can't wait to see you next time. It's on March 18th, so we have a little bit of time to digest what we covered today, and grow forward. And I hope I see you next time. Have a great week.